You knew this was coming. Oh yeah, you absolutely did. The moment Luffy started smacking Buddha butt cheeks, I thought Whole Cake Island already ended. Dog, what is that? Monkey D. Luffy, my God.
Extra thick!
Brazilian Butnicas walking around. What's happening here? More! The trailers didn't do it justice. This episode was outstanding. And you knew off the rip it was gonna be outstanding because there was no recap. Oh man. When One Piece does no recap, saddle up, buckle in, get ready. Let's do this. Otherworldly on so many fronts. Not just the animation, but also the substance, the actual substance that we got in this episode of One Piece. Incredible. 1100 just smacked. Oh, what? 1100 smacked. And the question ultimately is this episode a 10 out of 10? Is this episode of One Piece a 10 out of 10?
Not yet.
But I cannot answer that question just yet because you know the drill. My reaction was, I thought, it was crazy stream. It was a crazy stream. First on where? Patreon, obviously. That's where I do all my show reactions first, unedited and unfiltered. And before we get to the Rob Lucci and Luffy greatness, I gotta say this. I can see why Akainu subscribes to the desk activities of McReans, aka the new Marine Ford in the New World. Because man, I noticed how his setup, his desk, that Italian maple, and that heavy duty chair made for a 12-foot behemoth like him? Yo, Akainu's setup is pretty damn dope. I can see why he enjoys his stay at Marine headquarters, at McReans. 1, 2 is Kizaru. No, he wish Ben Beckman was on the script that he saw, because he knows what's coming. He has that film red drip. He looks great. I would say that over wine yellow, personally speaking. But the anime has done this fight, at least so far, Lucci versus Luffy, so much justice. Oh yeah. The things to come in this arc are going to be phenomenal. But for this episode, let's give credit where credit is due. The direction mainly credited to Shishido Nozomu. Screenplay is accredited to Tomioka Atsuhiro. Artwork direction is accredited to Tanaka Midori. Key animation goes to Saito Keita and Ito Kamitaka. And then more animators that were part of just this outstanding, this behemoth, this juggernaut of an episode are Momofuji, Kashiwaguma Shin, Hori Torinosuke, Yuto, Hirota Kohei, who did the King Kong Gear 5 power moment when Luffy... Oh yeah! Hirota Kohei is... Thank you. That moment was outstanding. Then we have Anikari. We have the brothers, Amiman and Jack Amin Ibrahim, who did some of the Luffy dodging Rob Lucci Shigan shenanigans when he's grabbing his own head and he's sleeping. He's doing the Steph Curry sleep. Oh, that scene, the level of disrespect. And the Ibrahim brothers gave that justice for damn sure. Shout out to those two. Then we have Tomioka Kaito, Saito Hiroto, Kurosaki Hayato, Watabe Takahiro, Rui, who did the very end of the episode where Rob Lucci has that Killua stealth step going on. You can't hear nothing, not even his breathing, and then he just dead Sentomaru with the hand pistol. That was a killer, no pun intended, but that was a killer scene to end the amazing episode 1100 on. Then, of course, gotta give love to Vincent Chansard, who did the Rob Lucci transformation awakening leopard form scene. The blue really caught me off guard. But then later on, it was like more of like a mythical ancestral plane sort of black, right? So it was dope for damn sure, but not gonna lie to you, in my reaction, that blue really caught me off guard when I first saw that. But that scene that he did for the transformation of Rob Lucci, muy bueno. After that, we have Yoshiyama Yu, who did the Luffy stumbling into the dust cloud, and then the dust cloud turns into the rubber, and he starts having fun and starts laughing maniacally. That was a low-key great scene. And then this episode, obviously, the juggernaut, I'll argue the juggernaut, Ota Akihiro. The return of the Sanji Ifrit combo on Queen and the Luffy x Yamato versus Kaido combination. The GOAT. The GOAT! This man had nice bits, around like a minute plus of just his content in episode, and they were very damn good bits. Though none of those bits are at the very end again, that very end scene, which is very similar to his style of animation, but that was Rui. That wasn't Ota, that was Rui. They're very similar, they really, really are. But again, the hand pistol at the end was Rui, not Akihiro Ota. Ota was the one that did like Luffy jiggling after he's transformed, has the red glowing eyes, and then just blitzes, man. Oh, Lucci. Oh, Lucci. When he was looking at... No. That speed blitz. You see, I have argued that a transformation scene is not just the scene itself, but it's the events before and after that scene too. These things should all be incorporated into that one singular moment. This Gear 5 transformation, it's only number 3 so far. There was the first one, then there was the second one in the middle fight against Kaido, where you have Ota do that funky heartbeat. That was him. And then you have this one. I wouldn't count Film Red, no. So you have 3 so far. This one right here, best one. Wow, like I really enjoyed the one in Wano Country, number 2 particularly. That was dope with Luffy's heartbeat, you know, that funky rhythm. But man, the King Kong thing, and then him just transforming, the hockey everywhere. You have the crazy effects, and then the blitz. It was unbelievable, bro. Lucci's expression, ungodly speed blitz. Though there is like a nanosecond of a frame where he does block in the nick of time. Good for Lucci. But it was nasty work. And during the transformation, I did see blips here and there of reused laughing and reused text moments from 1071, but the vast majority of folks won't even notice that kind of stuff. And then there's a minute of Awakened Lucci dashing around Luffy, civilians running, Chopper and Jinbei and so on. They're trying to stop Luffy, and then it all leads into the Luffy Asmack scene. Pan Pan. Yeah, that was all also Akihiro Ota, which was it's got your stuff. That smacks. That smacks, baby. Yeah, and I love it. I love it. So even though there's a lot of moments, like for example, when Torinosuke Hori had that scene, that old school impact frame of the Luffy Rob Lucci Enies Lobby 1v1, and how in that frame you get to see like their first sort of fist clash, and then you see the updated one when they clash again. That was a great moment right there for sure in those impact frames. Transformation done by Victor Chansard. You get to see the Mole Pistol madness and so on. I think that it's Ota's work that is like catching everyone's attention for sure, because it's crazy, it's off the charts, it's wonky, it's salacious. Oh my goodness, it's just outstanding stuff. And some folks have mentioned that Krillin in Dragon Ball Z had an ass-backing scene against Frieza and Namek, which is true. I remember that scene. And of course, Krillin and Luffy, the same voice actress, Tanaka Mayumi. And also, I want to point out one thing too. The lead up to the Mole Pistol, I thought was really, really good. Because one of the things I noticed was that Rob Lucci, like the entire fight, he started to act really feral. At these moments, euthanizing Rob Lucci is easily on the table. And it was a subtle way, I think, on director Shishiro Nozomu's part to really show how the awakening was affecting Rob Lucci's psyche. He was really at times acting super feral, like raw, and he was just roaring and he was going nuts. While he was going nuts and acting so feral, Luffy, man, bro, it was intense when it came to the moments beforehand when he's like drooling in the middle of the fight, Rob Lucci, and then later on to the Mole Pistol where he's like snarling and growling and so good. The little details I thought during the fight, even though they're not losing themselves, like the impel down Jailer Beast guards, some parts of them are still being slightly affected by their different powers. Speaking of which, here's the thing, okay? Because that Mole Pistol was just outstanding. It was so damn good. Obviously, the episode itself has great animation, and the pace was on point. And that alone, I think, is like worthy of a 9 out of 10, for sure. So in the same book, I would have 1061, Sanji versus Queen, or 1062, Zoro versus King. But when I think of a definitive 10 out of 10 episode of One Piece, my mind, it always goes back to Megumi Ishitani's episode 1050. That episode is, it's perfect. it is the pinnacle episode of the entire story, I would argue. At the bare minimum in recent memory, okay, I'll put it like that. In recent memory, yeah, man, 10-15 is beautiful, perfect in almost every conceivable way. And in this episode, I think animation quality and all the fight stuff, again, like 9 out of 10 minimum. And obviously, this is a very fight-heavy, fight-focused episode, for sure. And the animators did a phenomenal job across the board. Shout out to all of them, and the direction too, and the screenplay, and the great job across the board. But in terms of fights, I'm thinking about like what's the best I've seen in One Piece? Easily 1074. I mean, if you don't believe me, just rewatch it. Luffy versus Kaido. Oh my, and the lightning works. Oh my God. Bro, to this day, I rewatch that scene sometimes. Oh, that Death Destroyer, Thunder Bagua, is just, it's the nastiest thing. It's even nastier than the Flame Drum Dragon, which is like, how? But it just is, because the way they do it, the way they animate it, the lead up to it, 1074 in terms of fights, it's still like the pinnacle of One Piece. But here's the thing, this episode has substance. It has weight, it has meat, it has girth, it's thick, and it commands respect, all right? Like the BBN, obviously, when you have Nami and Sanji's party hearing about Luffy being a god. What? He resembles a deity. The Gamu Gamu fruit does not exist in the old Devil Fruit Encyclopedia, which I think matters a lot. Obviously matters a tremendous amount. Hearing the sun god Nika's name for the first time, that party. And then of course, later on, Vegapunk talking about how, and I quote, Devil fruits are manifestations of people's aspiration for human evolution. I want to be like this or that. All the different powers represent the diverse futures of humanity. And that is why Devil Fruit's unnaturalness is loathed by the goddess of the sea, Mother Nature. And power users themselves live in a different reality that someone before has dreamed up. Huge, monumental, titanic leap forward and understand the roots of the Devil Fruits. So the substance, I would say, is also incredibly strong, incredibly powerful. And that, you could argue, on top of the insane animation, the great fighting, and so on and so forth, the great pace, that's like a 9.5 for sure. Yeah. Is it 10 out of 10? Man. Oh, it's so difficult, bro. Is it as good as 10-15? It's like, oh man. It's such a high bar. But this, I can say, oh yeah. This is like 1074 of One Piece. Like it's a 9.5 out of 10. Like this is better than Sanji piece, than Zoro piece. It's better than Kid in Law against Big Mom. It's so good. Man, Egghead Island has two major events coming up, and we see them in the opening. Kid versus some red-haired Giga Chad. Oh, dude, Kuzan scrapping up against Garp. Oh, bro, this is gonna be crazy. I hope they do give this justice in the future. They don't slack off. If you need to take another break or two for a week or two to do more recaps, like here's a Garp recap, here's a Useless Captain Kid recap. You're doing for Law before, I think. We're getting one for Rob Lucci in CP9 next week. If that's what it takes to get very good animation, pristine directing, storyboarding that is very well thought out, and of course, very good, well-structured pace. Not like having Atlas charge or punch for 3 minutes just to miss on Rob Lucci, particularly when we know that these ones to come in the future are going to be unironically groundbreaking moments on an even higher level than Luffy versus Rob Lucci. And the last thing we want to see is these moments get shafted because there wasn't enough time for the animators and directors and staff to actually give these moments the quality they deserve. Then take the time that you need. Take it. Because even though it sucks to miss a week or two, for sure, the payoff is worth it. You can see it in the fans' reactions when these episodes drop. Because I've seen nothing. There are a few bums here or there, friend of fine. But the positivity on all fronts for this episode was overwhelming, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. Obviously, One Piece is not seasonal. They have to skirt the lines in various ways so they can make do. It's part of the dance you have to play for an ongoing show. Fair enough. But we've seen them, I think in Wano Country, do a good job of balancing when and when not to really focus on animation and attention to detail of that sort. And when we have upcoming Garp versus Kuzan, Shanks, yo, this better not be like we saw Wano Country and the Green Bull thing. This has got to be Sakuga to the maximum. It's got to be stupid Sakuga. Movie quality Ghibli style. Do not skimp on the red-haired wonder. No way. Get Megumi Ishitani. If you need 3 weeks for a break for that, make it happen. Let me know your stance on this episode of One Piece. If you enjoy my video content, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click on that bell to join the notification squad. I'm gonna catch you guys on the flip side.
See you. Bye-bye.